Welcome YouTube to Robbie Vapes. This is my first vaping channel I've done. Figured I'd do something special for you guys for my first video. So what I have today is the unboxing of the Mutation X V3 by Indulgence. I'll be unboxing this and building a coil on here. I have the V2 right now that I'm using. It's my go-to RDA. Love the vape production, love the airflow. Let's take a quick hit on this one and show you what I'm working with. Been vaping this RDA all day, so the battery's running a little bit low and I'm low on juice here, so let's just top it up with my favorite juice, the Cowtown Red Mile. Guy here in Calgary, Alberta. Fantastic e-liquid for the price. I mean, the price is phenomenal. The flavor is just unbelievable, and the density of the vapor cannot be beat. I mean, this stuff is amazing. Let's take another hit. Perfect. And it's a nice cool vape as well. I'm using my own custom coil I'm doing. It's kind of a copy off the Dragon coil. I like to call it the hard coil, which is the half-ass reverse Dragon coil. You'll see why it's called that in a minute. What I'll do is open this bad boy up for you guys. Then what we'll do, review it, pros and cons, the V3 versus the V2. Is it worth it if you already have a V2 to get the V3? And then we'll do my own coil build on it and you'll see what it looks like. This is going to be a long video, but it's my first one, so I figured why not come in with a bang, and let's just get right to the unboxing of this thing. So what we'll do is we'll just open it up right here, and let's see what she looks like. I am super excited for this thing. Could not wait once I heard they had a V3 out. Had to pick it up right away. Like I said, the V2 is just my go-to RDA. It is phenomenal vapor production, awesome airflow. I've tried quite a few other RDAs. I have a Plume Veil, which I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. It is a clone. I also use a Still Air, which is kind of more of my flavor RDA. I don't usually use it for a lot of clouds. And then I've got a couple other ones, but this one, the V2, is just phenomenal. Let's see how the V3 looks. I'm going to get up close with this thing, and let's find out what it looks like in the box. Alright, and we're back. Let's unbox this guy and see what comes with it. Now one of the things I heard that came with it, which did not come with the V2, which I'm super excited to see, is the adapter that allows you to have 510 drip tips on it. That being said, I actually love the original drip tip on the first one I got, on the V2, and I don't know if I'm going to use it very often, but we'll find out what it looks like and how it feels, and see if it fits the old one as well, because that's a big plus if it does. So here's the RDA itself, just a really clean RDA. I got the black because it was the only one left. I usually like the stainless steel, but I'm happy with the black. I can't complain. Really nice connection pin down there. It's numbered. This is, let's see if we can read that, B13258. And of course, Mutation X V3 is on the bottom there. Really cool RDA here. Feels really good in the hands. Typical size, 22mm. And let's put that aside for now and go back to the box. So I took this out right away. This is the actual adapter that lets you have the 510 connection on the RDA, or the 510 drip tips on the RDA. Let's actually take our original V2 here and see if it'll fit on here. If it does, it's going to be a huge plus. And here it is here. Let's take out the drip tip. Love that drip tip, super wide, perfect for getting nice airflow. And let's just see if it'll fit. Look at that, perfect fit. That thing is amazing, and that is a huge plus, by the way, that it's reversible. That is just a huge plus. Being able to have that adapter on both the V2 and the V3, I really think that in itself says something. They're not making you go out and spend the extra money on the V3 and getting this extra accessory piece that doesn't even work on other RDAs of the same manufacturer. So that's a huge plus. Works on the V2. Perfect. That is definitely a pro. Let's put that aside for now though. See what else you get in the package. Here's the package right here. If we look in here, we have the typical stuff. We have the screwdriver and O-rings, as well as a couple extra screws. in the package as well, and so you can see that. I probably won't use those, so let's keep them in the package, put them aside for now. And then of course we have the drip tip itself. It's pretty much the exact same as the other one. Same design. You know, why mess with a good thing, right? This thing works. I love the vape production it produces and the airflow you get out of this. I like a nice big tip on that. Put it on here, see how it fits. If I can hold this steady enough. Ooh, and it actually seems to be a very tight fit, so that's kind of weird. I don't know why it's having trouble going on. I think it's on now. It looks to be straight, but that was actually a little bit harder to get on than I thought, so that O-ring is really tough in there. Let's actually see the inside of this. So what I'll do is I'll put this on my ohm reader. Let's see how hard it is to take off the top here. Oh, it is tough. I'm actually gonna move my beer out of the way so I don't spill it. Don't want to do that. Oh, there we go. So I knock everything over. So here's the inside of it. Pretty similar to the V2 from what I can see. The holes in there look to be about the same size. Could be mistaken. Nice deep drip well, which I love about the V2. And double O-ring, of course, again, just like the V2. The big difference, however, is the top part, which has the star screw heads. And let's see if I can get a focus on there. There we go. The other one actually has this really weird screw head to it, I guess. I wouldn't even call it a screw head, but to the side, I'll review that in a second. But just to show you, and this is going to kind of give away the coil I build, but you can kind of see here, if we look in here, there we go. You can see the screw heads are actually this triangle-like thing, and very different than what you might expect. I wasn't a huge fan of it for two reasons. The first reason, it's very hard to get the tool that they provide into it. The second part, of course, is being that you have to use that tool, and the downside in that, I'll show you the tool. I think I have it here. Yeah, here it is, just over to the side. This thing is crazy sharp. I mean, I have pretty much poked myself at least 3 or 4 times. I actually have a mark right there from the last time I did it. Dug into the skin, got a little bit of blood, which is always fun. But yeah, that's the tool. Not the nicest tool, not the easiest to use. I'm really happy they decided to switch it up and go to the a more traditional screw head. So this is awesome. Huge plus as well. Okay, let's go to the top piece here. Here we see the massive amount of air holes here. We have 9 on each side. Really nice airflow. Perfect for those really nice big clouds that you're going to produce. They may not be as dense or as flavorful, some people think, but the coil build I have, I get a lot of flavor out of mine. So what I'll do is we'll take this top piece off. I'm going to have to do it off camera so I don't knock everything over again. But yeah, I mean, for me, I don't mind the extra airflow because it actually helps with the coil I build. So here it is, those nice sharp corners again. But you know what? A lot of people say it's a bad thing. I don't. I like the way it's designed. I love the slants on it. It works perfectly. You can adjust the airflow. You can do single coils with just this one. You can do the dual coil mode. I mean, perfect top cap in my opinion. So let's go back here. Just push it back in. Very tight seal though. That's one of the things I'm noticing with this. I was really surprised at the drip tip, at just how hard it was to get in. I mean, again, actually that one wasn't too bad, but might just need a little bit of loosening up. So there it is. That is the Mutation X V3. And let's put it back on here. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Tell you if I recommend it, if it's worth it to get the V3 if you already have the V2. and then we'll go into the coil build itself. Like I said, this is gonna be a long video, so I apologize in advance. I'll try and put the times in the description below, and that way you guys can fast forward to whatever part you really want to see. And with that, I will be back in a second. Alright YouTube, we're back with my final thoughts on the Mutation X V3. Is it worth it if you already own a V2? And second question is it worth it if you don't have a V2 or any Mutation X at this point? Would I recommend it? Final thoughts are absolutely. If you do not have one already, go out and get one of these V3s. It's perfect. It's everything the V2 didn't. And the V2 in itself I thought was near perfection. They changed everything about it that I did not like. They changed the screws. They changed the adapter here that gives you that extra ability to have the 510 drip tip. I mean, all in all, this thing is phenomenally built. It is absolutely an awesome vape if you like the airflow. And even if you don't like the airflow, you can always adjust it. Just turn the cap a little bit, and now you have no airflow, or you have a limited airflow. You can pick and choose what you want to do. And that right there makes it worth your money. The price tag on one of these in Canada is $45, which is an awesome price for an RDA that's not a clone. And I think the price in the US is something like 30 or 35 bucks. Pick one up. This is well worth it. Add it to your collection. I promise you, you'll be vaping this as much as I am. This is my daily vape by far. Now the question is, do you get one if you have a V2? And again, I have to say, you gotta get it. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about the V4 coming out, and it's gonna be way different. But that's what I'm scared of. This thing to me is just so perfect. Pick up the V3 while you can, and you will not regret it. And if you have a V2, you now get the extra adapter, and now you have two RDAs you can be vaping on non-stop all the time. And you can have two different builds in here. But again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do my build. Again, it's called the hard coil, which again stands for the half-ass reverse dragon coil. You'll see why it's like that in a second. I know you saw it in the close-up of the V2 I showed very briefly, but now you'll actually get to see how I build it and why I call it the half-ass reverse dragon coil. So let's get into that. As you can see, I have the Mutation X on the ohm reader right away. I just find it easier to build on this. Let me test everything out real quick. So here it is. There are the holes again. You probably won't see those for most of the video until I actually do the coils being inserted. I have my straightened out piece of 26 gauge Kanthal, very small piece. It's only about maybe 6 inches, but I think this is all I'll need. Worst case, I'll cut another piece real quick, and we'll work with 2 pieces, but I think this should be enough. Basically what we're going to do is that blue screwdriver we got in the RDA package, and in most RDA packages I should say, this little screwdriver, all we're going to do is take it. You have to forgive me, I'm actually doing this through the camera, so it's a little bit harder to do, but I want to see exactly what you guys see. So we have the blue screwdriver. All we do is we wrap it around here. Okay, we get it started, and then we go 1. Actually, you know what? That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 3. That's going to be 4. And that will be 5 times. So you do 5 wraps as tight as you can. This first one right here that's way off isn't going to be part of it. So what we'll now do is unravel it. Okay, and it's going to be pretty bendy, so just be aware of that. And let's see, one more time I think should do it. Okay, and again, just unwrap it. Alright, now it's pretty bad as far as straightness goes. I can already tell I'm going to have to use another piece of Kanthal, so I'll do that off video and get another piece out. But there it is. Tighten it together a little bit, and there are your 5 coil wraps. Now first of all, I know the Dragon Coil has a lot more than 5, and it's on a lot smaller of a circumference here. That's what's called the half-ass Dragon Coil, because you only have to do half the work. Alright, now that's going to be the best part of this, okay? So we have the 5 wraps right there. A little crooked, I know, but that's okay. So what we'll do is we'll trim this off. grab these as I bang the camera. All right, so we got these, and let's just cut this off. Again, I'm not doing this through, or I'm doing this through the camera, so it's gonna be messy. Bear with me, okay? There it is. And the best part about the Mutation X, both the V2 and the V3, is you have 4 posts, so it really doesn't matter what goes where. So what we're going to do is slide it into the positive post first, and it would help if I loosen the screws here, which I should have done already. So let's do that real quick. I have a piece of cotton on there. So let's just keep loosening these, and then we can attach the coils, and you'll see where this all comes from and how it works. This build usually doesn't take me too long, but of course I'm doing it all through the camera's angle, which is not very friendly, and neither is this last screw actually. I don't want to... Wow, this is really tough. Okay, we are back. I was able to loosen up this last screw. It actually wasn't too difficult once I took it off camera. Just the angle I was on. So instead of doing the long end on the positive, let's do the long end on the negative, because again, it doesn't really matter. Alright, and what we want to do is get it close, but not too close. And that should be about right. And let's take our screwdriver and tighten this down. Alright, again, this can be difficult, seeing it from the camera's angle. So about there. Okay, and that should hold it in place, I hope. Okay, so tighten this first screw down, and it's already coming out. This is terribly hard to do through a camera, but it looks like we've got it almost. There it is, nice and tight. Okay, now it's time for the middle one. Same thing, nice and tight. There we go. Okay, so we got that. There's our first coil, and I am a big dual coil guy, so we will be building 2 of these like that. And it's already coming a little bit loose. It's not quite as tight as I wanted it. We'll get back to that later when we light it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to be back in a second. I'm going to cut another piece of Kanthal, straighten it out, and let's do another wrap. And we're back. We've now straightened out the piece of Kanthal. For anyone who doesn't know how I do it, and who may not have seen the drill in the opening video when I'm zoomed out, I do what pretty much Rip Trippers does. I think it's phenomenal how he straightens out his Kanthal. It works for me so well. I couldn't help but use it, so that's how I straighten out my Kanthal. If you haven't seen the video, I recommend checking it out. I mean, the Kanthal is just super straight, super easy to work with, and it also works really well if you're in twisted builds too, but I'm kind of over those. I like this build. So again, what we're going to do is wrap it once to get leverage. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we have 5 wraps there. We're going to straighten it out again, or at least try to. Let's get this thing semi-straight. I actually have used the drill to straighten out this one piece after I've bent it out of shape. It does work pretty well, but usually you don't have to do that, and it doesn't make a difference. It's just nice to have that option in case anyone really wants it. And it is harder to work on. Oh, there we go. Gotta love that little kink there. So let's straighten this out just a little bit more, see if we can't get it nice and straight. It's still kinking a little bit. I'm going to take my pliers and see if I can't get that out. Okay guys, sorry about that. Here it is. I straightened it out a little bit. Actually had to use the pliers to get it out. It's not too bad now. That'll work. So again, we have the 5 wraps, and it's just over one of these little blue screwdrivers. Let's put it in the other side here, and what we'll do is get it in, which is a lot more difficult than it should be because I can't see anything. Alright, so it's in now, and let's get the screwdriver and tighten these down as well. Okay, and that one is nice and tight. And again, that one is nice and tight. Bring it up a little bit here. Okay. So we're back again. This is going to be a pain in the ass to edit, but we finally got both coils working. And the battery's of course dying in my mod now, but they're both firing pretty well. I had to make a change. Of course, on video, everything has to go wrong. I have done this build countless times, and yet this is the time when everything messes up. So I apologize. Let's just go through with this and let's get to the cotton part. Alright, so put that to the side. Let's take out our piece of cotton. I like to use Japanese cotton. Works well for me. All I do is tear this in half and roll it up in my hand. I'll do that off screen because it's very hard to do. Show you what it looks like and we'll come back. Alright, we're back. We have our piece of cotton here. Nice thread on the end to thread it through. Much like the dragon coil, we're going to go underneath this coil, bring it over to the other side, and we'll fish it out using the pliers. Tweezers would come in very handy right now. There we go. Okay, grab hold and just gently start pulling it through. Maybe straighten out a little bit. Alright, now this is where things are going to change. So we've got it almost halfway. Keep going just a little bit more. And roughly about there. So leave that for a second, do the other side, and we'll come back. We're back now. We have both sides done the exact same way. We go underneath the coils on both directions, and now all we do, unlike the dragon, we bring it right back over. And what you may want to do is twist it a little bit, just get it through those posts. Twist it a little bit, there we go, okay. Now, usually on the dragon, you want to block off the bottom hole. On this one, this is called a reverse dragon for a reason. What we don't want to do is block off the bottom hole, so instead, we're actually going to block off the top hole. Kind of like that, and you want to make sure it's covering enough. And what you want to do is use your screwdriver or something just to tuck it in there nicely. This is where those deep wells come in handy. Just get this thing underneath. Get it underneath on that side as well. Really just tuck it in. And let's see. Get under there. Alright. So again, you want to have that opening on the left side. You don't want this much cotton on this side though, so let's try and get some over a little bit. And try and get it more over top the cotton. So, or over top of the coil. So again, let's bring it over just a little bit more. Okay, that should work. Alright, same thing there. Now this is probably the most difficult part of the build, is getting it nice and even over here without covering up that bottom hole, because that's the key here. And there we go, that should be good. And now let's see if we can't get it in a little bit more like that. Okay, probably used way too much cotton here, but that doesn't matter. Okay, now let's tuck this piece in and we'll trim off that last piece. So again, you really want to make sure that top part is covered. You can see it definitely is. There's nothing showing on that side, but on that side we can still see the air hole. And that's exactly what it's going to act as. Okay, we're back, and this is what you should have once everything's all done. You should have the coil showing on, or the air hole showing on both sides, just on the bottom. The top should be completely covered. And now let's get to the good part. Let's drip it and see how she vapes. And we're back, YouTube. So of course, as I was filming, my battery died in my Hades clone. We're now using the Stingray X clone. So I'm going to produce as much vapor, but you can get the rough idea of what this thing is capable of doing. So with that, let's take a couple of vapes and see how she goes. Still getting that dense vapor, that really nice flavor out of it too. I love this build. This is my favorite build by far. Let's take another one. and you can just see just massive clouds. Love the vapor, love the flavor. I mean, everything in this is just perfect. I love this build. This is why this is my go-to. Again, I really wish I had my Hades clone because it would produce even more vapor. Keep in mind this is a 0.25 build that's producing that much vapor and that kind of density. I mean, it just can't be beat. This build is my favorite by far. And before anyone thinks that I'm insulting the Dragon Coil by calling it the hard coil or the half-ass reverse Dragon Coil, it's really not meant to be an insult. It's actually meant to be more of a compliment. I mean, I stumbled upon this build by accident. I built it wrong, and it was vaping like crazy. And then I realized once I realized it was wrong, I started to continue building it the same way over and over again, just because it works so well. And that's why I couldn't understand why so many people were against the Dragon Coil at first. You know, I thought for sure that the flavor was there, the vapor was definitely there. But I mean, this build right here just gives you everything you want. It gives you that airflow you want. It gives you that flavor, and it's a nice, cool vape that you can just vape all day long. I mean, here we go again. What more can you ask for? I mean, that is perfect right there. Thank you for watching, YouTube. I appreciate it. Again, this is Robbie Vapes coming at you. Feel free to comment, subscribe, like. Give me some ideas on what I should do next. I'm going to be doing a lot of reviews, some RDAs, some mods. I'll do some juice reviews as well for you. You guys know how much I love this Cowtown stuff. Phenomenal. I believe there's one company here in Calgary that actually sells it, at least in North America. I don't know if they do worldwide, but the company's called Digital Imports. Definitely check them out. They have a ton of selection. I mean, everything from 5 Ponds to Mount Baker Vapor and to this stuff, which again I highly recommend. 18 bucks a bottle, well worth it. Check them out. Until next time, YouTube, happy vaping.